Welcome to Fancy Breakouts. I'm Pat. That's Eric. Yeah, week 2 is over in the book. Well, almost. We got Monday Night Football, obviously, but as always, any given Sunday, anything can happen. A lot of positive things, a lot of questionable things, and a lot of negative things. So let's dive right into that, Eric. Let's talk about takeaways. All right, let's give you everybody 5 takeaways. So give me your 5 takeaways from week 2, starting with your fifth one.
Okay, yep. Let's start at the top. We're going to try to go through this quickly so we can follow along and then get to business with the waiver pickups after this. So, my guy going into this season, my draft pick, my guy I was in love with, Antonio Gibson. We got to talk about him. So, he looked fine on Thursday night. You might be frustrated. He averaged 5 and some yards per carry. They're moving the ball with him, but he did lose a lot of passing game work to McKissick in that one. I do expect that again to happen just like that pretty much against the Bills this week where they bring in McKissick, especially if they're behind. But personally, in that case, if you have a better option, don't force it. Maybe you can sit Gibson one week where the police aren't going to come after you for that, right? You're not, it's your team. It's your team. It's your life. You can bench Gibson one week. But we will be fine, okay? So take a deep breath. Better matchups are ahead. Here we go, Week 12. Let's talk about the end of the season. This is what Pat gets into early. Week 12, Seattle. Week 13 at the Raiders. Week 14 at Dallas. Week 15, Philly. Week 16, Dallas. Week 17, Philly. He could be in Montgomery this year, so don't get rid of him. Don't pull the cord yet. So that's what I got to say about that. That's my number 5 takeaway, Pat. And you mentioned you want to talk about Derek Carr upsetting the Pittsburgh Steelers this week. What do you have to say about
Derek,
him?
For years we've been, obviously Derek Carr talking about I'm gonna play till I'm 50 or 40, whatever it is, yada yada yada. A little too early for all that, but Derek Carr has been going to work, man. It's hard to ignore what he's doing right now. And they even actually basically took Darren Waller out the picture last week in Pittsburgh, which you would think that's what would happen every week, but yeah, Derek Carr is really going to work every week. He's probably had 350 back to back. He's just padding the stat sheet. So if anybody's out there streaming quarterbacks, that's not the worst option. And even with that kind of defense, you might shy away, but he just proved that to you. And I think Pittsburgh, from the looks of it, beyond the first 2 weeks, is to me one of the top at least 3 defenses right now. So looks future's bright for that guy.
Yeah, he gets like we talked about, he gets the Dolphins at home next week, and they aren't looking like a shutdown team. So
it's crazy, how they went from last year to this. It's looking a little tough over there in Miami. But yeah, your next takeaway, Eric.
Yeah, next takeaway. A little bit of a misdirection. I think we thought Houston was going to be the handout defense of the year, but it looks like it's going to be Jacksonville. Jacksonville only put up 13 points against Denver, and I don't think the Denver offense looked that great to begin with, but they get the Arizona Cardinals next week, so somebody might have dropped Arizona's defense after this week, so I'm pretty excited about that one. Pat, we talked about Jameis. I opted not to start that man, thank God. You wanted to talk about DJ Moore in that game where New Orleans scored 7 points, Carolina 26.
Well, I read some headlines about Jameis and all this, and I'm like, first of all, we got to take a wait-and-see approach. We've seen famous Jameis do this stuff for years. He had a great game last week, but it was like the Packers didn't show up. Maybe they helped him look good, Came back down to earth, and, yuck. That whole offense was shut down. Kamara, what did he have, 8 fantasy points? Something like it was nothing. DJ Moore, when I drafted him, I talked about that when I drafted him earlier in the year. It's one of those guys you hate to It's like he's not a household name, but he goes to work. He's productive. At the end of the day, if you look at it, he definitely puts up numbers and whatnot. And he's a strong wide receiver too, man. They are feeding that man the ball. Robbie Anderson once again only had a few targets. That's very shocking. But the Robbie Anderson owners are pretty salty at the moment.
Yeah, he's not getting that volume he was last year when McCaffrey was out, right? So offense isn't about him anymore, but they paid him. So here we go. Next one, Pat. You got some talk. You got some explaining to do, I think. New England 25, Jets 6. Belichick's defense is back to taking away your best option again. This isn't last year. They're back to that. What was it, 2019 form? Any response? You told a lot of our friends and followers to start Corey Davis. I maybe said a few. Where you coming from with that? Where you stand today?
Listen, I said, and you also said that I said that I don't want to start them. I'm starting their defense because that's what they do against Zach Wilson. Yes, Corey Davis is the main receiver, but it really was Zach Wilson that got clamped. Yeah. I mean, look at what do you have? 3 interceptions? What do you have? Like 4 interceptions.
9.
He's the one that got clamped. Yes, Corey Davis had a bad game, and it was a couple of those out of these 3. He still was the best option out of that because he's Corey Davis compared to them. That's why. Goose eggs, things happen, but at the end of the day, you can thank one guy, and it's the guy that's on the cover of those SAT prep books. His name is Zach, young Zach. Is that what they call him?
It says, okay, you're pushing the blame on Zach Wilson. Okay.
I'm not pushing the blame. I'm just saying. I also, like I said that New England's going to take out their best option. And exactly what happened.
Pat did say Thielen over Corey Davis, so we drew the line. It wasn't an all-out.
No, I never completely sided on him. There was some I did say this, but overall, I did not feel comfortable with that game.
I think we killed it. Even being tired in a dark hotel room and a little hungover, we did fine. We got some questions. I'll get right to those right after we get done with the recap. We only got a couple left. I want to say with the Tennessee and Seattle game, that Derrick Henry taking in touchdowns from the 30-yard line and then the Julio, having a centimeter of his foot, his cleat out of bounds. It's a little bit of a fluke. I wouldn't freak out about Tannehill. I mean, that directly affected Tannehill and the receivers not getting touchdowns. So maybe it's a buy low on those guys. If Tannehill gets dropped, grab him. I would say, personally. Anything on that, Pat?
I agree with you. I mean, we noticed a few quarterbacks are drastically slow right now. You guys, Herbert, Josh Allen. I want to talk about him.
Mm-hmm.
When would you ever guess or think that the Bills will win 35-0? Josh Allen doesn't even drop 18 fantasy points. It's crazy right now. And he had a running touchdown they called back. It's a marathon, not a sprint, guys. And I'm feeling it just like the rest of you guys. One of my teams they're just not there. It's not cutting it right now. But we'll be all right. It'll come around. So.
And then your real life team, the Bears, pulled it out against Cincy.
Came to play. They didn't. I mean, the defense won that game. My guy T. Higgins had a strip phone. They had a return for a touchdown. They actually played that day. The Bears actually showed up. So let's see. Joe Burrow's still a young player. He might got it. I think he threw 3 picks and 3 straight throws. It was rough, man. So the Bears actually won that. That's my takeaway from that game for sure. But obviously T. Higgins still going to score. Jamar Chase, deep ball, made him look stupid. But he scored as well.
Look at these receptions: 6 for 60, 7 for 73, 2 for 54. I mean, that was not happening with AJ Green last year. They're behind a lot, but still, I like what we saw from those 3.
At this point, AJ Green's not Jamar Chase in their careers.
Oh,
that's what it was.
That's not fair to say that too, but
it's not
to AJ. But yeah,
mm-hmm.
Darnell,
Father time,
pretty good.
Allen Robinson. Oh my! I just traded for this guy, and he dropped a touchdown. How many times have you ever seen Allen Robinson drop a ball? Somebody tell me. I was just praising this man, and he dropped that touchdown. Would have helped me greatly.
Yeah, maybe fantasy gods. Pat got over on somebody on a trade, so maybe it's just fantasy.
I don't know. Hey, we look at that week, and it's no, he did. So, I didn't get over.
All right, let's look at. I don't even want to talk about it. It wasn't mine. I didn't trade with you, but looking at some transaction trends for waivers now. So I think somebody that you should grab, even if you have a stud quarterback. I think you should go after Justin Fields right now. Uh, maybe people aren't going to spend up because he just didn't cash in some touchdowns at the end of the game there. So maybe you can get him at a reasonable point. But I think he's my guy, quarterback. Do you agree with that, Pat?
Oh yeah. I already got him on my keeper team.
And they don't think. What did they say? They don't think that Andy Dalton tore his ACL.
I'm not trying to hear that.
But I think it doesn't matter. It might not matter. Right?
The only thing Scott Hansen's ever not said that I have not agreed with was, "Oh, there's a sigh of relief from Chicago fans. Andy Dalton's okay, folks." Nobody said real, that's good. Right? And I don't wish injury upon anybody, but nobody wanted that. Like, honestly, come on, man, stop it.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody I was looking for. I was talking to Izzy on the live. Somebody I was looking for as a waiver pickup before the game started was Cordero Patterson, and man, they're looking creative with him. Arthur Smith, maybe he's going to start clicking in Atlanta. We saw some positive things in Atlanta. He's like the one touchdown. No way Mike Davis gets past the one guy where it was an off tackle to Cordero Patterson. Got clipped by the guy, easily got in the end zone. It's like Mike Davis does not get that touchdown. So I think they know what they got with him. Cordell Patterson's only owned 15% of Yahoo leagues right now, so he's out there.
I feel so bad for Mike Davis owners because remember coming in, he has no competition. You just never know, man, with these guys. And they are using him. Yeah. He's like his wannabe Derrick Henry at the moment.
And I know, like, you might be thinking, he was on the Patriots and he didn't really bust out, or a couple teams, but like they're so thin. They have nothing. They have like D3, whatever. No offense to those guys. They're amazing athletes or whatever, but football, they don't have NFL caliber dudes. Okay, so try to think about right now versus years past, and I'd want to spend up on him. He's taken in our leagues. I don't know how the hell it worked out. But and then I have 3 guys I kind of want to group together, and I don't know if you are out on one of these guys or not, Pat. So Rondale Moore, Ruggs, KJ Osborne, and Pittman. I think if you want to take a flyer, not really expecting to start any of them, but I think they deserve to be on your bench unless you have a better like Cuff or something. How do you any of those guys you don't like, or you like more than one of the others?
I like more.
You like more the best out of those 4?
He is involved, and they're going to give him the ball, and they give him open space. I like what they do with him. They don't just like Henry Ruggs. My knock on him, why I traded him, because they just throw it up and see if he can catch it. Mm-hmm. Yes, he had 20 points last week, but come on, if you really think that's going to happen every week, and then that's up to you. I'm not on that bus at all yet. Rondale Moore, they do everything. Give him a little dump offs. They do him screens. They do all that, and that's what you want to see. Him being part of that game plan, period, in which he is. He's going to get 4 to 5 balls a week, period. He's an athlete, so I'd put him on top of all those guys, personally.
Yeah, it seems like he's building trust, too, with them.
Rapport, yep.
Pittman, yeah, the quarterback's the question now with the injury. So then I there are some good defenses. This is why you don't try to guess or draft one of them early. Here we go. So we have Carolina playing Thursday at Houston. They've only allowed 21 points through the first 2 games. They're sneaky good, and then Darnold's taking care of the offense, so they're not getting put in bad positions. So I like them. Another one, Cardinals. I think Minnesota's offense is pretty good. Team's not very good, right? The Jags will not be able to hang with the Cardinals. And they're not going to be – the Jags aren't going to open lanes like the Vikings, 2005 offense does. And, great. I think they're going to be great favorite in that game. And then we talked about New England playing the Saints up in New England. More chaos maybe for Jameis. Which one do you like the best out of those 3? Carolina, Cardinals, New England?
Probably Cardinals. And the reason why I'm leaning with that is just because the pressure they apply. And then I go New England and I go Carolina because Carolina's playing Houston, right?
Yeah, in Houston.
Houston's been turning heads, man. Houston is not like – I don't know what they're doing or how they're doing what they're doing, but they're doing it. Like, last week we thought Browns were going to clamp him up. They did not. It was not like that. It was not like that at all.
If Tyrod misses, though,
I mean, even when Tyrod missed, Brandon Cooks looks like the best receiver ever. I'd like to say that he's not good, but they kept moving. Mm-hmm. So, right now I'm still undecided about Houston. Maybe the wheels fall off. Maybe they're just in a lucky patch right now, if you will. But right now I'm not betting against them right now. I'm good.
So what do you think about holding Gainwell versus, maybe picking up one of these guys? Where would you draw the line? Would you think maybe that receiver group?
I would like to have Gainwell a lot more, but I'm keeping Gainwell without a doubt.
So looking for those cuffs. That guy might get dropped. So somebody asked a question. Gosh, Bub, he's been following us, hopping on live. He asked this long question. So this is who's available in his league. So Patterson, KJ Osborne, Gabe Davis, Cephas, UW, Badger, Bateman injured, Stevenson, Damian Williams. Oh, he put Bateman twice. Marshall, Terrence Marshall, Elijah Moore. Yeah, he's available. Tony Jones Jr.
What does he need?
He says just I think he said one of them's available, or he's ready to drop somebody. Who should I grab, basically? And Moss. He said Moss. Zach Moss.
That backfield is so unpredictable. I'm good on that. I'd take Marshall. We've talked about this, man. I love Terrence Marshall's going to come on the scene
versus Patterson. You go Marshall just for the long term.
It depends. Like if you need him for next week, or you need him from like this wide receiver out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Like it really depends on that position. If you need a running back, get Patterson. But if Terrence Marshall, bro, they're gonna give him the ball. He's gonna eventually start getting about 4 to 6 targets weekly, week in, week out. And he's a big body guy, so that could be a quick slant. I can see him averaging like 10 points, getting like a touchdown at 40 yards. I can see that. So it really depends on what's the make of your squad right at the moment. Like, do you need a running back? I don't know who that is, Israel. If you need a running back, then Cordell Patterson, just because they throw him in there. But
okay,
I'm up 41, and my opponent has Rodgers. Whew.
I didn't see the Adams part. I was like, oh, just Rodgers? You're good. And I was like, oop.
Cody, man, I appreciate you for stopping by, man.
You're going to be sweating this one.
I'd honestly either get a drink, go play the game, because history shows when Rodgers has a bad game, the man comes back and throws 4+. And then odds are Devontae Adams is mad, and Devontae Adams is going to go off as well. So I'm just going to tell you right now, have a drink, man. Wait,
yeah, I was up 25 on Lamar Jackson last night, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go sit down.
I'm out of here.
I gotta do the dishes, and you just kind of watch out of the corner of your eye as you lose. But all right, well, we're gonna be talking about trade targets. I think this is a great time to go after guys like we talked about, Antonio Gibson, maybe Herbert, maybe just there's a long list of guys. So we're going to talk about who you might trade away, who you might trade for. Look out for that. Pat, do you have anything else for this recap, sir?
Man. No, so far, I mean, obviously week 2 is week 2, man. It's going to be a good game, I think, tonight. I think the Lions are what do you think the score prediction is going to be, Eric? Go ahead.
One of our friends asked, should I bet on the Lions? What are they, dog? I think they're like 10-point dogs. He's like, I just want to take him bad. And I was like, I don't know. I would say by 14. I'm going to go take Green Bay by 14 tonight.
What's your score?
Let's say, I'm going to say 32, whatever the difference. 32-26.
I'm going 44-28.
Or 42-26. You know what I'm saying. What did you say?
44-28 Packers.
All right. I hate the Packers, though. All right. What?
They come. Hey, you know what? They come out for vengeance, bro. That's what it is. What it is,
Yeah,
So,
I can see them overcorrecting, making the fans happy. So, all right, well, have a good night. We'll be coming back to you soon. Appreciate it.
deuces. Appreciate you guys.